New balancer going on. A little bit of lube for the seal. My fancy homemade install tool. Grab a flywheel bolt so I can lock the crank up on the back. near the key. My my homemade installer. Weather's warming up. Finally looking a little nicer out there. Finally. Bolt. Okay. See what we have going on. Ooh, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of a little bit harder with the but she's just kind of here to here. Pretty centered. The exhaust looks even better. Here to here. Technically, maybe, I don't know. It's what I went with. You can get these, this is kind of a fairly more common size. So that's what I went with. And this is us, for those that are wondering. You saw me using the feeler gauges. It is a solid cam. Solid roller. This is the push rods I'm using. So, I'll be going with that. So there we go. It's my LS6 in disguise with a, I know, old school cast iron intake, but the goal is to make this, I want to make this look like this. So when it's in the car, this is what it looks like, other than 70 uses a flat intake. But with the air cleaner on it, those with the keen eyes will always know, but close enough. And I've done some extensive work on the intake here. It looks good. Is it actually good? Don't know until you actually try it out on a flow bench or on a dyno. Compare one before stock and then compare after it's modified and see if you went the right way or not. But oh well, good enough. I'm going with it. So I can get all my push rods in and go through and set the valves. And I've got adjustable guide plates on this for those that may or may not be. You got to look at your line here from your push rod to your valve, because anyone who's been around big Chevys for any length of time know that with the stock, you know, they can be off quite a bit to one side, but I can adjust these. You can back this off, and this part is slotted here. Loosen your guides, and you can change the spread so you can dial that straight in, which is a nice which is nice to be able to do that, because at one time, if a guy wanted to do that, he would have had to have gotten fancy with a, you know, cut and re-weld or whatever the case may be, and it's been done. It's what they had to do at one time, but now they've got a lot of this stuff sorted out. It just makes for bolt-on parts, off the shelf stuff. A bit of oil, lube up the threads. So just looking at these, you can tell they're pretty true to the tip of the valve. So those are lined up nice. So I'm gonna go through. I won't bore you with going through, slow process, but that's basically, yeah, adjustable guide plates. We can change the spread on them. So I'm gonna go through that. Just a quick update here. I guess 23 minutes. Yeah. So it's getting close to being able to run. My last video, here I'll show you, bring you back over and show you the quadrajet I was messing around with. She's back all together now. Here it is here. So when I redid the throttle shaft bushings, so now it's nice and tight. Well, smooth tight. And she's all put together, and I got all the choke and all that stuff on there, and we'll run her on the test stand, get her fired up, and see how it works. Like I say, it's not original LS6 car. It's as you can see, I've shown a lot of times, it was a 350 horse 396 car, my Chevelle that I've got, but I have an LS6, and I just want to dress it up and make it look like painting the whole engine orange. So aftermarket aluminum heads and a GM iron intake, and I just want it to look stock, but have a little more grunt. Not that the 396 doesn't have enough power, but I mean, let's face it, 396 is no 454. I know I know there's still those that are confused about that, but for the guys that actually know, it's easy horsepower, especially in a street application. So, not saying you can't do lots with that, and guys do, and I'm not bashing it. So I'm just saying you're building the same engine virtually. One's got more cubic inch, more camshaft, more compression, more. It kind of equals more. So that's where I'm going with this. So we'll check in again. Well, I had done I thought it was a good video on checking piston to valve clearance, but I got a new phone, so I kind of lost some video footage and couldn't retrieve it, and whatever the case is. But anyways, because these are aftermarket heads, but the gurus know from the factory stuff, you had closed chamber and you had open chamber heads, and a lot of the factory type stuff, open chamber head didn't work necessarily with a closed chamber or dome piston, or vice versa kind of thing, right? So without having to do a little modification, clearancing, whatever the case may be. But anyways, with these cylinder heads and modeling clay and just some light pressure checking valve springs, I put it in there. I checked my piston to valve with the cylinder head right to the block, a couple bolts to hold her flush, and I had like 100 thou on the intake, and I think 100 and what was it, 120 or something like that on the exhaust. I think 100 thou and 120. So that was just rotating it over with no clearance for lash and without the head gasket. So with this head gasket, I'm running, it's around 39, 40 thou compressed thickness. So quick math, now I know I got 40 thou more clearance than what I had, and I was already good. So it's just something to check. And it's very easy to do especially with solid lifters. I mean, can you do it with hydraulic? You can, but you have to, basically with the adjustable push rods, it's fine because you can adjust them out enough to keep that plunger collapse down. So you're not, as you're rotating over, you're not getting a false reading of that hydraulic lifter moving and no valve moving. So when you're checking piston to valve, you want that valve to be moving the full. If your camshaft 600 thou, you want, let me rephrase that. If your camshaft lift plus the ratio of your specific rocker, whatever your actual valve lift is at the valve, that's what you want to have going on at the valve to verify your piston to valve clearance. And it's not just because of big lift. It's comes down to your cam valve timing events, your valve opening and closing events. And as that piston's opening, essentially you got valves opening, chasing the piston down, and then when the piston's coming up, it's kind of chasing that exhaust valve up, and then you get into overlap where they're both open. So it's just a really good idea to when you're veering off the OEM application, which I have, the heads are different. These valves are 100 thou longer. Like there's so many things that are different here. So it's you have to. You're more than likely going to need to get a custom length set of push rods to get your valve train and everything, in the wheelhouse. So when in doubt, check it out, Measure, just like the carpenters say, measure twice, cut once. So this case, we measure twice so we don't hit once. So anyways, that's all I got. Thanks. Woo!